FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz. It's 4/23/19. Well, is this the end of La La Land? Is La La Land coming to an end for for the stock market? Well, Ned Schmidt's got his ideas for sure. Hey, pork is sizzling right now, and I'm thinking of starting a new service, pork futures in the supermarket. You just go buy 50 or 100 pounds worth of bacon and wait for it to go up in price. Even if the price goes down, at least you still got the bacon to eat. And as always, email us, kl@kerrylutz.com. Well, Ned, it's always great to have you back on. You know, your publications are invaluable and, well, interesting times ahead for sure, isn't it?
Yes, that's true. And, you know, we've been in la la land here in the stock market, U.S. stock market, since New Year's Day. And I'm thinking that is starting to look tired for many reasons. I've been watching what the Federal Reserve has been doing with its bond portfolio. And they have reduced that bond portfolio by $500 billion. That took them a lot of money out of the U.S. financial system. And if you overlay on a graph of the Federal Reserve's bond portfolio, U.S. stock market returns, and despite many people having forgot about it, I mean, the U.S. stock market went into the end of December in miserable shape. And that decline in liquidity had been explaining the deterioration in stock market returns up till December. And then something different happened, as we all know. What happened is the corporate buybacks became overwhelmingly dominant. In the 2 quarters, one being the last quarter of 2018 and the first quarter of this year, corporate buybacks were, to use an approximate number, $450 billion. And they set a record in both of those quarters. And in the 5 quarters ending March, they bought back roughly $1.3 trillion of their stock.
Mm-hmm.
That just overpowered everything and gave us this mania we've had since January. Now, they may have another $1 trillion. I don't know if they do or don't. But it probably, after you spent $1.3 trillion, you've got a lot less money to spend on corporate buybacks.
Mm-hmm.
And that is fall off in that spending is going to make stock market returns look ugly again. Probably drive people to look back at gold and silver. And there's no reason now for the dollar to go up because the Federal Reserve has adopted their WIMP policy, which means they're scared of damaging the stock market. So they're going to continue the WIMP policy all year. And ultimately, that got to help gold and silver. I mean, that's the only asset that is primarily tied to the Federal Reserve having no policy, which is what they have now. And as we painfully watched this last month, gold and silver have come down. Now, this is my personal work, and it's saying Thursday. This is Tuesday. Kerry and I are talking.
Mm-hmm.
That Thursday is probably close to the end of that weakness. So if you're looking for a time to add to your gold and silver, I think Thursday would be it of this week to start doing so.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So you really think?
Go ahead, Kerry.
So you really think we're hitting the end here, huh?
I do. I mean, you know, after you've spent $1.3 trillion, there's not the same amount of money left. And remember, none of this money was being spent as an investment.
Right.
It was being frittered away, buying back stock. And then you look at the nonsense in the market. I mean, the IPO market is going crazy. Taxi cab app. The world doesn't need a giant taxi cab app.
Are you sure? Are you sure about
I look
that?
around, and I think the cure for cancer would have been far better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Terry, we run our economy in basically stupid mode.
Yes, we
I mean,
have.
how much money has this country frizzled away on useless social networking sites and taxi cab apps?
Yes, very true.
You know, mind-boggling. So I think that frenzied IPO activity is indicated. That usually happens at the end of a run. It doesn't happen at a bear market bottom. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure of that, Gary.
Inclined to agree with you. Hey, what about these declining claims for new unemployment insurance? Also indicative of a peak, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the U.S. economy is doing well. And it has been doing well for so long that the growth rate has to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to look faster. The U.S. trade numbers for the last 5 months have not made any sense. But since we have a net import situation, or I want to say our net exports are negative, that goes into the GDP calculation. So it's going to be a less negative than was originally thought. So we may get a good number for the first quarter, and that may make people start throwing away their Fed funds forecast. Probably will eliminate the few that are saying it's going to go down. I don't see how that's going to happen. But
Interesting. So, so you think it's that imminent, huh? Gold, precious metals prices going up. We're that close to it.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next.
Egypt is on the verge, once again, becoming a world-renowned gold producer. The golden age is being rediscovered. For millennia, ancient Egyptian kingdoms prospered from unparalleled riches. Pharaohs built their empires and flaunted their abundant wealth that was made possible by the country's resource-rich gold deposits. Despite this rich history, modern Egypt remains one of the most underdeveloped gold mining countries in the world. Aton Resources is at the center of the modern Egyptian mining world, diligently working both as the only public exploration company in Egypt today and as the advocate for mining reform with the Egyptian government. However, those that arrive early like Aton will reap the best rewards. Aton's discovery of the legendary Lost Mountain of Gold at Rodruin and its current aggressive drilling program there could potentially reap those rewards. Aton Resources is focused on its 100% owned Abu Marawat concession in the Arabian-Nubian Shield, located 200 kilometers north of Centamin Sakari's world-class gold mine. Aton possesses first-mover advantage in the underfollowed jurisdiction of Egypt, which is currently undergoing mining reform. To stay on top of Aton's latest drill results and news, go to atonresources.com. Aton trades on the Toronto Venture Exchange under the ticker AAN and on the OTC under the ticker ANLBF.
The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
No, I think we are. Like I said, I think late this week we should see the end of this selling. And this selling hadn't really been selling. You know, when you can make more money flipping nonsense in the stock market without any brain work,
not much risk.
Traders
either.
just leave markets like that. I mean, they're out of gold, they're out of corn. You know, there's no point playing those when you can make money off mindless speculators that want to buy an IPO on nonsense.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Agreed there. Agreed. So what about pork? What the heck is going on with pork futures here? And maybe I should go to the supermarket and buy up some more bacon and pork roll and Canadian bacon and sausages and whatever else I can find.
All right. We're on the verge of a global pork shortage. And Jerry, you and I have talked many times in the last 6 months on on African swine flu.
Yeah, you've been a raging bull on pork for the past 6 months, for sure, for that reason.
Yeah. And this disease kills the hog in a matter of days. A couple of days, the hog's done. There are no vaccines. And since it's a virus, there are no cures for it.
Yeah.
And so it is now struck in every province in China. Now, these estimates, Terry, are about worth what any estimate is worth.
Yeah.
We think it's going to cost China 200 million hogs this year.
Yeah, that's a lot of production. That's a lot of Mushu pork there, Ned.
That is. I mean, Chinese like their pork.
Hey.
And they have been importing all of a sudden pork from the United States. So far this year, in 2019, they have bought 51,000 tons of U.S. pork.
It's a lot of pork.
Last year they bought 17,000. It's a giant jump. And more importantly, on order, when you look at export numbers, USDA gives us two numbers: that which has been exported and that which has been sold but not exported. They have on order another 115,000 tons of pork. And last year at this time, they had 4,000 tons. So they are scrambling to buy pork wherever they can get it. And the only place you can get pork in this world right now readily is in the Americas, North, Central, and South America. And the U.S. is the champion pork producer. We have the best genetics, the best pork farmers in the world. And so pork prices have doubled from their 52-week low.
Wow.
The same dynamic that problem is spilling over into other markets.
Mm-hmm.
Beef in the United States hit a 52-week high yesterday. Feeder steers, and to help our listeners, you buy a feeder steer, you feed it a bunch of corn, and when it's fat enough, then it becomes beef. Feeder steers are the input. Those prices are at a 52-week high. So the whole animal protein complex, pork, beef, chicken, is a hot market right now. And the fundamental problem, Terry, is that meat production is price inelastic. In other words, no matter what the price of pork does, it still takes 4 months for a mommy sow to produce a piglet, and then another 6 months or so. I mean, you can't rush the mother-baby process. It doesn't pay any attention to prices. Cattle, it's 9 months gestation period, just like humans.
Right.
Now, as a consequence, the animal protein stocks have been screaming. The leader is up 20% this month.
Wow.
That's JBSAY. The problem is that we don't have a lot of animal protein companies in the world. And there are no meaningful ones in the United States. These are all foreign companies. JBS is out of Brazil, has an ADR that trades here, JBSAY.
Right.
That's been a hot stock. And one of the reasons it's hot is the company is in final negotiations, we hope, with the SEC to solve their problems that go back years ago in Brazil, at which point they will list this stock in the United States. We would then have a USA-listed company, and JBSA owns Pilgrim's Pride and Swift. The next one on the list is let me get so I need you the right symbols. I do with that page. MRRCY. That is the world's second largest beef exporter. It's also based in Brazil, but they own National Beef here in the United States. If you live somewhere where you have National Beef hot dogs or whatever, that's who owns it. The other one is BRFS, which is the largest chicken exporter out of Brazil. That stock is on a tear this morning. And so those stocks aren't your run-of-the-mill type names.
No, they're not.
That's where the action is. And this really isn't coming as a surprise because animal proteins were probably where the world was going to hit food shortages first. And so
Correct.
These are some stocks to look at. And the problem, like I said, is we don't have any Americans. We got plenty of social networking nonsense, but we don't have fundamental things like producing cows and pigs and chickens.
We going back to that though?
There's going to be an attempt, but it's expensive to get in the business. You don't just become a pig farmer one day. It takes a big investment, and a big investment in protecting that asset from disease. Right now, the pig farmers in the United States are scared. This month was supposed to be the World Pork Expo. 20,000 people arrived in Des Moines, Iowa.
I'm sorry, I missed
Talk
it.
about pigs.
Sorry, I'm not going to be there.
They canceled it because they're afraid somebody traveling from a foreign country would bring this virus with them on their clothing
Oh my God.
or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So
We'll have to wait till next year, I guess. Oh, they could have done a video conference, right? And then nobody would have had to come to Des Moines at all.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
What are we going to do, Ned? What are we going to do?
I'm going to pay my bacon is worth it.
Yeah.
So what was it the comedian said? Maybe bad for you, but it's worth it.
Yeah. Well, maybe it'll be harder for the politicians in D.C. to give pork to their donors now that there's going to be a shortage, right?
Yeah. I don't think they will have a shortage, Kerry. One thing, fiscal responsibility is not running rampant in Congress right now.
You don't think?
No, well, the first spending plan the Democrats came up with in the House was a $2 trillion increase in spending over the next 10 years.
Mm.
And we're going to do things like cancel all student debt.
It's a great idea.
I think so.
Yeah. Let's just cancel all debt and screw the banks, right? Yeah, what's going to happen?
I don't think
Well, a lot of that debt is uncollectible. In my opinion, they shouldn't cancel it. They should just make it so you can get rid of it in bankruptcy, right?
That's right. Or put the colleges on the hook for part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's too bad. No, but most of the debt that's out there has taken place because you saw that genius Maxine Waters was asking the bankers from Wells, Jamie Dimon, and the big banks, what's the deal with student loans? And they said, we don't make them anymore. Obama took over the industry in 2010. And of course, the moron that she is, she was caught flat-footed. So it's all just government money. It doesn't count anyway. It's a debt we owe to ourselves. So let's just forget about it. But I don't think they should just give it away. But there is no reason in this world why student loan debt should not be dischargeable in bankruptcy. Wait 5 years till after you've graduated from college. But after that, you should be able to take it out in bankruptcy. And that would force them to, right now, they won't reschedule it, and you just owe it forever and ever and ever. So let's just get rid of this stuff. I'm in favor. And while we're at it, let's get rid of student loans altogether and let the colleges charge a market rate for their educational services. And it either gets paid or it doesn't. And put the colleges on the hook for the debt as well, right?
Right. If the colleges were on the hook for 5 or 10% of the loan,
or all,
you would see a lot less of these junk degrees.
Well, better yet, let's do a sliding scale. Let's say for year one, you're 95% on the hook. For year two, 90, and it goes down 5% every year. So if the guy never graduates, you're on the hook for most of it. for one thing, they would pay a lot more attention to those struggling students to make sure they didn't fail out and they got their degrees, right? And they'd be a lot more discriminating about taking people who they know have no chance of ever graduating as well. Sounds good to me.
Or getting a job with the degree they get.
Yeah, exactly. So there would be a whole reality check. Trump's trying to do it. It'll never happen. The educational industrial complex, way too strong, underemploys millions of people throughout the country, overpays them, underemploys them. Anyway, Ned, so let's look forward to see what happens to gold on Thursday. Let's keep buying our pork futures at the supermarket. You think it's too late to make any money in the agricultural commodity space?
No, like I said, it takes so long to produce a pig or a calf. This supply situation cannot change for years. It's just structural. Mother Nature.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm buying it. I agree with you. I can see your logic. Hey, again, let's just tell them where to find you, Ned. We always have them here. The Value View Gold Report and the Agri-Food Value View. By far, Ned, your Agri-Food Value View report is so far ahead of the rest of the crowd that there's no point even mentioning anybody else. You're always on top of these commodities, the underlying stocks that can be in the best position to profit from it. And so check out the Agri-Food Value View. And while you're at it, check out financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Sign up for a newsletter. Emails kl@kerrylutz.com. If you are listening on any platform, YouTube, podcast, whatever, subscribe, like, and share. Really helps us a lot when you do that. Where else could you hear Ned Schmidt's view on pork 6 months before it happened? It's all coming to pass just as Ned said it would. And that's even more reason why you need to listen to FSN. You need to support the show. Ned, always a pleasure. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Thanks a lot, Kerry. Take care.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.